the third speaker can be a really intimidating role. You're the last person from your team to speak, so what you say is really important for persuading the adjudicator. But don't worry, because your team has your back, and we have your back, and we're going to give you some useful tips today. Hi everyone, my name's Isabel, and welcome back to another Conquering Debating video. The biggest part of a third speaker speech is summarising the debate. You have to make it sound like you won, even if you're not sure you have. There are two important things you have to do as third speaker when you're summarising. You have to reinforce your team's case, and you have to rebut the other team's case. For example, if I was just starting out as a third speaker, I might say something like this at the start of my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'll summarise the debate and explain why my team won. First, I'll rebut the other team's arguments, then I'll reinforce my team's points and explain why they still stand at the end of the debate. Let's talk about rebuttal. It's really important that you rebut every part of the other team's case, not just the speaker before you. Your rebuttal should do two things. It should attack the other team's arguments, but it should also defend your points. You have to make sure that you explain why their rebuttal of your points is not true and not important, just like you would do for ordinary rebuttal. Remember, when you're the third speaker, you can't talk about any new arguments, but you still need to make sure that you reinforce your team's case and remind the adjudicator about all the great arguments you've run and why they still win the debate. However, you have to make sure you don't sound repetitive. Don't just copy word for word exactly what your previous speakers have said. You could try using new examples, new rebuttal, or new ways of explaining the previous arguments. If you're a beginner debater, it can be really confusing knowing how to prepare for a third speaker speech. Here are 3 useful tips. Tip 1. Help your teammates write your case. You need to know your case in detail to be able to defend it against the opposition. That's why you need to be involved in writing it. Tip 2. Write a quick summary of your team's case and the opposition team's case in order to figure out where you won. Tip 3. Before the debate, brainstorm some arguments that the other team might make, so that you can think about what your rebuttal might be later. For example, if we were the third affirmative speaker for the topic that we should ban school uniforms, we could probably anticipate that the negative team might talk about how school uniforms create pride and unity, and we could use this to prepare rebuttal before the debate has even started. Finally, if you're a debating expert, you could try thematic rebuttal. That's where you merge your arguments and your rebuttal into themes or issues that have been important in the debate. But that's a video for another day. Thanks for listening. If you learnt something about third speaker speeches from this video, then please like it and share it with your family and friends. Or, if you have any questions or suggestions, then put them in a comment below. See you next time!